All right, we out here. Welcome to The Come Up. This is the podcast where we talk about the journey, the raw, the real, the nasty, the nitty gritty, and some of the good stuff. I'm here with the Christopher motherfucking D.
Oh,
here.
and we in here right now.
Out here and in here. And Christopher has a multifaceted career in modeling and music and Broadway and dance and performance and hosting and emceeing and just being a teacher, a motivator. And I am so excited to have you here. Everyone knows that I love Christopher more than anyone. Christopher's my favorite Escape teacher.
Well, Vanessa is the dance studio owner that I never had growing up. And the one thing I took away from my career was I wish someone had been there to tell me what to expect, what to go through.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up in a studio. I went on my own, did everything. And it is not ironic, but it is ironic that I end up teaching in a studio where you focus so much on preparing people for a professional life, because I wish I learned a lot of hard lessons the hard way.
Right.
And now there's a platform here where we can share and be like, hey, be careful.
Yeah.
Or don't do that, or do this, and I love that. That's exactly what you should be doing as a teacher.
And I think it's so important because now we're at a time in society where it's you can make a career out of art and whatever you're doing. And it's not like we're just flying off into the wind anymore, kind of just sent out
Right.
It's we actually know some things and we can prepare people to be successful with maybe hopefully less trauma.
Child, age and wisdom.
Age and wisdom. And we got to share it.
Right.
So tell the folks your journey is so long and you've done so many things. So tell us what you have been into, your successes career-wise, your peaks.
I have a really crazy story because I never had a stage parent. I didn't grow up in a studio. So I didn't have the typical I grew up always wanting to dance, or my parents pushed me into it. It was specifically my own thing. I always had a calling for dance.
Yeah.
I did choir and stuff in high school. But when I went to college, I was basically discovered. And my mentor was Cornelius Carter, who is an adjunct professor at the Ailey School.
Wow.
Who was the main dance professor at University of Alabama. And I was a biology major. I wanted to be a doctor.
Stop.
And I had a
Dr. Dean?
I had to take a fine arts class, and my choice was art history or this intro to dance styles, which was 6 weeks of ballet, 6 weeks of modern, 6 weeks of jazz. So I took it, and I was at the ballet bar, and the director of the program was walking through the class and looked at me, and then she left the room and came back with the three other dance teachers, and they all stood and watched me take ballet bar.
This was in college?
In college.
So you didn't dance until college?
No, didn't dance until I was 19. And I started college when I was 17, so it was my second year of college. And then after class, they were we need to talk to you. So they pulled me to the side, and they were like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm a biology major, and this is my fine arts class. I'm a minor in chemistry.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you're going to be a dancer. And Cornelius was like, Chad, you're going to be a dancer? You're going to be famous? And I was like, no. And he's like, you don't have a minor, right? And I'm like, I haven't added one. He's like, just add dance as a second major. Do it. You can do this. I can tell you now you can make something of this. So I auditioned for the student choreography show and was cast in 6 numbers. And the next semester, they asked me to be in the company, and they made me a principal. And I added dance as my second major. Crazy, right?
That was mind-blowing.
I was discovered because someone saw potential in me, which is the most beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And I loved it. Don't get me wrong. I felt it in my soul, but I didn't think that was a possibility. But I grew up in a small town in Alabama, so being on Broadway, being a choreographer, being in music videos was never a possibility. But then they told me, you can do this, you can do it. And then I loved it. And it was a great stress relief from the balance of being in a biology lab and then dancing, the creativity of it. I took to everything very naturally.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd ever be a teacher because I did learn. I did take class. I was taught, but everything came to me very naturally, very easily. So it's hard for me to explain to students something that no one had to explain to me.
Right. And so then, yeah.
It all just came to me.
And then what did you do? You did the productions, you were cast. Did you switch your major? Did you?
I added a second major in dance. And then I would drive myself an hour because they put me in all the advanced classes. So I was dancing with the girls who'd been in the studio since they were 3. They were incredible. I was just jumping in and literally going for it. And I was doing the combos. Yeah, I was doing everything. But I knew I needed the foundation. So I would drive to Birmingham 2 nights a week to the Alabama Ballet. And I would take beginning ballet with 5-year-olds. It was
Wow.
in a large class with a professional ballerina, and I would stand at the bar and like learn the technique. So I did know enough to know I needed that foundation.
Right.
I pushed myself. I did it. The foundation started setting in. The technique was there. And then I graduated and I was like, I'm going to go to New York. No one told me. I just knew
Wait,
that's what I was going to do.
do you have a chemistry degree?
I have a degree in biology.
Stop! Wait, whoa! I love this podcast.
And it's a Bachelor of Sciences. I have a BS with a double major in biology and dance performance and choreography.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I could still, like, I taught in high schools before.
That's wild.
Yeah, I also love science. I'm still really good at it. But I also love the anatomy of dance, too. I can explain, like, all the parts and what's going on.
Right.
And I love kinesiology. It was all great. What they need is how to file your taxes in dance. What they need is how to review a contract in dance. All that kind of stuff.
And so you were just like, you built up a passion for it and you were like, I'm going to New York.
By the time I got to my senior year and graduated, I knew then. I had the fire was like alive. It was always there. I just didn't know I had it. There's like, I always say like, no matter what, as hard as we work, there's still this like 25-30% of you that's like your spirit that calls you to be a performer. Yeah. And you can't teach someone that. Yeah. Like the fire. And it was always there and they saw it. And once it's alive, you can't stop it. Right. I would have not been happy in a lab or being a doctor.
What do you think, like, that moment sounds just like the moment that Nate was talking about on the last podcast where he was the same thing. I was never going to be in entertainment, but somebody was like, you should. Like, what do you make of that moment? Because, like, would you have ever gotten into ballet without that? Like,
yeah, I don't, it's life-changing, and I do believe in, like, moments. Of course, Cornelius is still my mentor. I call him my dad. Yeah. We're still very close. That wouldn't have been my trajectory. Yeah. Like, he changed my whole entire life in that one moment.
That's crazy.
But I think it was meant to be. Everything kind of aligned, and I had always felt comfortable on stage. I always felt great entertaining people. I was like that crazy kid. But he knows, and we're so close. And, you know, that's not really surprising because my whole entire life, all the pivotal moments of my life, growing up in Alabama, were a person of color, a black woman or man, who stepped in and told me, like, the first memory I have is telling my mom's best friend, Ann McKenzie, that I want to be president. Yeah. And she asked what my goal was. I said, I want to be president one day. She called me Mr. Prez for the rest of my life. Wow. As long as I knew her. Second was Colleen Gordon, who was my school guidance counselor. I thought she was the most magical, beautiful woman in the world. I have a t-shirt with her face on it that I wear now. She's no longer alive. Wow. But she used to be like, Christopher, you are dazzling. Everything that I thought was weird and different, you know, being a not openly gay kid in Alabama, she thought was remarkable. And she always encouraged me. And those people never said, like, no, you can't do that. They always said, absolutely, you can do it. Yeah. So when Cornelius came to me and opened this door, it wasn't shocking to me. I always trusted, especially strong black figures in my life. They are the ones who told me you can do this. Yeah. So I've lived a very weird life. Yeah. And very unusual to a lot of other people.
It's super interesting, that concept. I think about this when I look at different students, like the difference between a person who has people who encourage them like that, and then they learn to trust that, and they're like, they have that behind them, versus someone who doesn't. Like, how important it is to have somebody that's like, you can do it. Yeah. But there's so many kids and people who fight against like what they're even capable of.
Yeah, and it's scary to go out on your own. Yeah. But even when you have an adult who's a strong role model saying, you can do this, you can do it, you still question, do they say this to everyone or just me? Yeah. And let me tell you, we don't say it to everyone. Totally. I don't tell anyone to just, unless you are built for this career, I don't encourage everyone to go into it. Yeah. I'm also like, be careful. And when you get there, I'm going to hold your hand. Yeah. You're about to see some shit you haven't seen before. Yes. So get ready.
So then what happened? You went to New York and you saw some shit.
Yeah. And I auditioned for a cruise ship. I auditioned for Radio City. Yeah. I made it to the end. I was a finalist, but they didn't cast me. So I waited until August. I auditioned again, didn't get it. So Andrew Lloyd Webber was auditioning for a cruise ship in Chicago. Yeah. I met a boy at the Radio City audition. He told me, I went to Chicago, auditioned for that, and I got that show. So I went on tour, which is great.
With Radio City?
I went on a cruise ship.
A cruise ship tour, okay.
I got the Andrew Lloyd Webber show called Music of the Night, and I went and traveled and saved my money. And 10 months, and said, after that, I'm getting off. I had an apartment in New York, stepped off the ship in New York. That was our port, and rolled my suitcase to my apartment.
Wow.
Started auditioning, and I still had no idea what I was doing.
Right.
That was my goal, was in New York. I saved my money. I got there. And then I'll tell you how little guidance I had. My first audition I went to thinking fully I was going to book it was The Lion King.
Oh my goodness.
I walked into The Lion King. I'm going to get this.
Yeah.
I'm a great dancer. I trained with an A-League teacher, but let's be honest. Who looks like me in The Lion King? It's part of my, and that's the kind of stuff that no one told me in the beginning. Like, you can dream all you dream. You can dream, but also number two, now in 2024, I would find it offensive to myself that I even showed up expecting to get that part. Like, you really think that's for you?
Right.
Like, let that be for the people that it's meant to be for.
Right.
But I didn't know then. I was like, I'm a great dancer. I love Lion King.
Yes.
So that's why, and part of the come up is like being realistic. Is that job ever going to be yours? Yeah. Beyonce Giselle Knowles is 5'6". If you tell them in 5'6", you're never going to be her backup dancer.
Okay.
It's
knowing.
Knowles is 5'2".
Yeah.
You're never going to be her backup dancer. Even Rihanna, she's only 5'8".
Right.
If you're taller than the principal, you will never be cast. So don't go being like, it's my dream to be Beyonce's dancer and you're 5'10", boo-boo.
Yeah.
And unless they put you on the back of the football field and she's on the front, they're never going to cast you. That's not your fault.
And
so that's reality.
So many people don't think about those things or understand the reality of what it is to put together a production, like how those things work. Half of it is you don't like the part.
Right. It's not your fault.
It's more than half of it, I would say.
No, it's a lot. Radio City, they're like, I auditioned 6 times, and they're like, why didn't you get it? Like, or what did you work on each time?
Yeah.
I'm like, nothing. I didn't work on anything. I had it. I made it to the end every time.
Yeah.
They measured me for costumes, and that was the problem. There were 2 boys in each cast that were 6'4", and I was 6'4".
Yeah.
And they weren't going anywhere. So I was waiting for them to die.
Yeah.
And a car.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to spend $10,000 to build a new wardrobe for me because I'm cute or they love me that much.
It's about money.
Right.
They're not going to do it.
So I was waiting, and then a boy got Mamma Mia, and he dropped out, and then they put me in that role.
Okay.
That's why it took 6 times. Not because I had to work on myself or I didn't stretch my technique or go back and really apply myself. Like, I had it.
Yeah.
In the game. I had already trained with the Rockettes, so I was waiting for someone to die, and he finally did.
I'm so done. Okay, so
that's the reality of it, is that most of it is not about you.
So what about...
Always work on you, always.
What about that? Like, what was like in you were like, I'm going to do this 6 fucking times. Like, that is a special type of person most people would give up. Why? What is that in you where you're like, I know I have it. You're saying it now.
That's a good question.
I know I have it, and I'm just gonna, when he's dead, I'm in. Like, that's so confident.
I think that, first of all, I knew eventually there would be a space for me.
Yeah.
And I knew...
How did you know, though?
Because I knew that my height fit in the show.
Right.
So, like, I wasn't auditioning for an unachievable dream. I knew it would happen. I knew also at the time they had touring shows, so there were 6 different casts. There were a lot of opportunities. I mainly just knew, I felt like if I kept going back, they would see my resilience and be like, okay. Yeah. And I do believe if there's a part for you eventually, yes, keep going back. Don't stop until you just get that feeling like, this director just really didn't vibe with me.
Yeah.
So I'm never going to get it. I knew the director vibed with me. I just knew I was waiting for, even if there's 6 casts, there's only 2 boys. So you're talking about 12 people.
Right.
So I was waiting for one of 12, and there were 200 boys auditioning.
Right.
So the odds were not with me, but I was like, I want to get it. Like, this gig. Once you get that gig, then it opens up this door, and you move it to the next thing. And it's like a pass. You get the Radio City card. The next thing you do is go into an audition and lay your Radio City card down, and then doors start opening.
Right.
So, and I also knew directors there. I needed to get in and work with them. And that's what happened. The director at Radio City, once I worked with her, my next gig was for a summer gig to get my equity card to do 3 Broadway-style shows, and she had worked with me at Radio City. So she saw me that hired me for all 3, and I got my equity card immediately.
So you're SAG after it, or
the Actors Equity, which is AEA.
Wow, which is so great. And you were probably like what, 20 something?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'd say I was 20 then. Well, wait, I came into college at 21. So yeah, maybe 21 or 22.
Wow.
But it was a gig where they gave you your equity card immediately. You didn't have to finish the season. Like, I got it.
That's like not existing right now. Like, it's not
Kind kind of a burden as well because then I couldn't go and audition for the other shows.
Right.
And I kept, when I first moved to New York, I kept booking shows one after the other, and they would offer it to me, and I would turn it down. I turned down like Saturday Night Fever in Vegas. I turned down Seven Brides for Seven Brothers because I was like, oh, I'm getting this. I'm going to go straight on to Broadway.
Yeah.
That was wrong. It took me a long time.
Right.
It was a struggle, but that's a learning lesson, you know?
Yeah. So you're in this situation where you've got all this street cred, you're in the union, and you're like working towards the next thing, which for you is Broadway, and then you thought it was going to come quick, and it didn't.
No. It is hard to, because people think you book easy, which I did book a lot of small things easy, but the rejections.
Yeah.
You talk about 5 to 6 auditions a week.
Yeah.
That's the most I could probably make it to. And it's no. It's no.
Yeah.
You have no idea why. Crazy things happen. I auditioned for Disney once, and I was watching it with the headshots. And when I danced, they put my headshot to the right, and then I would watch who they put to the left. Yeah, I could figure these things out.
Yeah.
And the talent in the room was weak. I'm just going to put it that way.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to make it to the next round. Like, I know this is good. And my headshot, I saw them put it on the right. And then they were like, we're going to read out who's going to stay and who's going to go.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anyone in the room, but we had all been chatting. And they picked up a stack on the right, and they started going through and saying the names.
Yeah.
And they never said my name. And I knew my fucking picture was in that pile because I watched, but I was like, is it paperclip? Like, stuck. Did something happen? I don't know what happened, but I'm not going to tell them, like, I know my picture's over there. You just didn't say my name.
Yeah.
Because how crazy would that be?
Yeah, totally.
They didn't call my name, and so I went out and got my car and left.
Wow.
I don't know. I guess they didn't call me, but, like, I fully saw, like, crazy stuff like that happen.
Yeah.
I worked with a really crazy director one time. I won't name his name. It has won Tony Awards for several shows, and he choreographed my cruise ship, my very first job.
Okay.
So I'm in the show with this tall, beautiful black boy named Misha from Russia, who's British, and also this straight white Italian guy from Orlando who's a hip hop dancer who can do jazz.
Yeah.
And then there's me, gay ass me from Alabama. He's choreographing the new show, and the straight boys, they're both straight.
Yeah.
Go out at night and go to strip clubs and like drink and stay out. And I was like learning about choreo. But I was very ballet trained.
Yeah.
This choreographer grew up like learning how to dance on the streets. He is from another country originally, and then like he was very street trained at first.
Yeah.
But he earned his way up the ladder. So he did not like me because I was overly ballet trained. And don't get me wrong, I still had not learned that like get into other people's styles.
Right.
But one thing I didn't know is I remember the choreography, and he could not remember his own choreography. So he hated me because like I didn't dance the way he wanted me to dance, and I wasn't. He had an infatuation with straight boys. He was one of those gays. But he also loved me because I would remember.
Right.
He was so mean to me and so overly attached to the straight boys. And at one point, one of them started dating a girl in the cast, and he got really mad. And so he stopped casting him in lead roles. And it was a whole mess. But he never really liked me, and I didn't really like him. But I earned his respect as a dancer.
Right.
So I go to New York. He is now the choreographer for a Broadway show that is up for a Tony Award. And I go to the audition for the show. He's the co-choreographer with Jerry Mitchell was the choreographer. He was the assistant. And I go to this audition, and there's a whole section where you do fouettes and all this crazy.
Yes, you better work.
Yes. So they teach the combination, and I remember that he doesn't like me. And I see him, and I'm like, maybe things have changed.
Yeah.
Maybe we're better now. It's been like 5 years.
Yeah.
I go in and audition, and like they keep me through a few rounds, and they get to the section with the fouettes, and he's like, y'all are not like on the count. They need to be like down and up and down. And I'm just like, Christopher, will you demonstrate it for everyone? I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get this Broadway show. Like they were going to perform in the Tonys that Sunday night.
Oh my God.
So I go to the front, they play the music, I demonstrate all the fouettes and everything, and he's like, that's how I want it to be done. And he's like, everyone do it one more time. The whole group did it one more time, and he's like, I'm going to announce who I want to keep and who I want to cut, and he cut me from the audition.
Oh my God, because it's personal.
So unbelievable.
Oh my God.
But I'm just not that person. Like, that's their journey, the two people that were involved to tell, but like, I see him on the Tonys, I'm like, he is such a horrible human being. But you know what? That's not the choreographer for me.
Right.
That's what I learned. That's the big picture. The happy part of it is that you learn who's not for you.
Right.
And I'm glad I learned that lesson. He's not for me. And there are choreographers that work for me.
Yeah.
So that's who I worked with, but not, that one.
Wow. And so then I know you also, like, you transition into TV and things like that. So, like, your career is interesting because you've had multiple...
Yeah.
Multiple...
reality TV, too.
I am. Yeah. It's about tomorrow.
That's a whole different conversation we can have.
Yeah, I've been meaning to ask you about it.
I didn't tell you good and bad. There's both. You got to ride the tidal wave.
Yeah.
It's going to be quick. It's going to be fast. It's going to be huge. And don't look online. Don't Google your name.
Okay.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, like tell me about that. So how did you get into, like, as a dancer, to get onto completely different medium? And you weren't dancing. Well, in that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Here's the crazy part. Radio City. So there was a producer at Radio City that I worked with because they eventually brought me into the education side of Radio City because I love teaching as well.
Yeah.
And so the executive producer of the Radio City, like, summer program, summer intensive, we worked together and became very close friends. Again, a connection. If I'd never auditioned 6 times.
Yeah.
So I made that connection, and she eventually left Radio City and went to Atlantic City and became the CEO, which was the chief entertainment officer for the city of Atlantic City. They were trying to revitalize this, like, kind of old casino town.
Yeah.
And so the Bachelorette came to her and said, hey, we want to film, but there's lots of prerequisites. They don't pay for anything. It's all free.
Right.
But, a commercial for the Bachelorette runs like $200,000 for 30 seconds.
Wow.
So if you will let us use your casino, use your hotel, use whatever, it's free advertising.
Yeah.
So she was negotiating that deal. And they said, we need someone who can coach talent. And we don't want a female because the female is the principal of the show. They're paying a female. They gave me, like, non-threatening, and it needs to be someone who's fun and funny and talented. And she was like, oh, I know, Christopher.
Yes.
Yeah, so I did a phone interview with the producers of The Bachelorette, and they were like, yeah, you're exactly what we want. So we're going to fly you out, and we'll film in Atlantic City. It's going to be just one full day of filming. You'll be good, but we'll put you up in this beautiful casino called the Aria.
Yeah.
So I flew in and filmed that whole thing, and it was amazing. Again, you know what this feels like. I filmed it in probably, I don't remember when, maybe March. And it didn't air until, like, late June.
Yeah.
I don't know when. Felt like it was forever. It might have been 6 months. It's incredible. Because, Bachelor has 3 to 6 million viewers for every episode. And
right.
On one episode, maybe 20 total minutes of airtime.
Yeah.
And immediately your life changes. Like, yeah. For good and for bad. More opportunities. People write terrible things about you online.
Totally.
People write amazing things. The problem is you're competing in something where it's based on your talent.
Which is
very painful.
Yes, yeah.
But it's factor fiction, and you know the truth.
Yeah.
So whatever people, is their opinion of how you dance is their opinion.
Right.
It's not about you as a human. I mean, who knows how bad it can get. But with The Bachelor, I was not so much exhibiting a talent as I was being a personality.
Yeah.
So they were commenting on my personality.
Right.
Me, gay. Christopher Jean is gayer than a dog in a Christmas sweater. Or, like, it's crazy. And the worst part is that I went down a rabbit hole because I was a little younger and, like, looked on everything. I screenshotted all this stuff.
Oh my God.
But there were also people who were like, this guy, Christopher Deed, is so interesting. He deserves his own show.
Right.
ABC, you need to get on that right now. I actually have a list somewhere in my phone. I have to tell you this.
Still?
Oh my God. You have no idea how I obsessed about this. Because the personal blogs were what got me. Because I would write, like, you're hateful.
Like, some people would write blogs about you?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I had calls for interviews. Like, you're such a great personality. So I did interviews. But people would write very, very nice things or very, like, strong opinions. These are the things I was published in Wall Street Journal, LA Times, US Weekly, Time Magazine, Entertainment Weekly, LA Times, Variety, NPR, NBC, Hollywood Reporter, Daily Mail, and New York Post, and the BBC.
Wow.
That I can think of that have my name, that they publish that and photos of me. And
wow.
So it happens from one episode of one show if you make a strong impact.
Yeah. I
had planned that strategically because I knew advertising time on ABC, I knew I was getting, like, somewhere around like $250,000 worth of free advertising for myself.
Yeah.
So I use keywords over and over again.
Yeah.
And hashtags that hit Twitter.
Yeah.
So it built. I went in with a business structure. I didn't do
That's exactly what I'm doing.
I knew it could hurt me if I wasn't careful.
Yeah.
And I knew there would be some negative impact, but I was like, this is free advertising.
Yeah.
Like I'd really advertise myself. And it did work.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So what happened to you? Like, how did your life change with that?
Besides the fact that I have like probably 10,000 Facebook friend requests right now that I still haven't responded to in a decade.
Yeah.
My Facebook is a mess. I can't find. I have to tell people request me right now and I'll accept it right now because I still have a list of people.
Yeah.
Besides the like initial impact of a lot of people know you. I mean, there were people who recognize me like in Costco. You get calls, you get offered extra work.
Yeah.
You get brought into like whatever network you're in. Like if you're in the you're at HBO.
HBO.
Yeah, like fans of HBO, like those kind of things. Like there are certain groups that you'll like pop up in, and they'll be big fans. I mean, for you because you offer a talent, and marketable.
Yeah.
I mean, people did call me a coach then in pageantry because that's what I was focusing on, our talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got.
Oh my God, I forgot you did that too.
That's what I was there for. I got men for a pageant.
Right. Okay.
That did turn out to like get me opportunities for work, but it wasn't so much as like dance by primary. Like you could get lucrative bookings.
Yeah.
You're just gonna have some people somewhere. I don't know who. They're the waste of the human space that will comment on your dancing, your personality, and those kind of things. You have to. I've let them all go now, and I think they're hilarious now.
Yeah.
But it's hard, and I think you'd have it harder. Like if people comment on my personality, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because I'm very polarizing. You either really like me or you really don't.
Same.
But your dancing for me, like it feels like a sharper stab, but also we don't realistically. Like we're fucking fierce. So if people want to rag you about something, like, listen, I'm gonna pray for you.
I'm also almost 40. You know what I mean? It's different. Like if I was in my 20s, it would probably take me out. You know what I mean? But like at this age, I'm very much like getting to the point of like the fucks being so much lower. Like I'm 20 years older pretty much than where you were, you know?
You can say almost anything to me now and it'll roll off my back.
Yeah.
Not you, the audience.
Right.
People, strangers out there can say whatever. Now, if you said something like that, it would kill me. Because I only trust the people in my inner circle.
100%.
On the outside, say whatever you want.
Yeah.
I know the truth.
Yeah.
It speaks for itself. You're at home. You're so sad.
Yeah. Right. You on a couch eating chips.
You're a fan.
Yeah.
That's why we're taking. You're a fan.
Right. Haters are fans.
They're fans. Man, they're still viewers. But keep that viewership number going up.
Yes.
It's fine. I don't want to act like a bitch like that all the time, but sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
And protecting yourself, because when you're in the level that we're in, and there's an energy, like I talked about, that you can't teach. You're getting that out to people all the time, and it can really deplete you. Completely. And you know how we have to put up barriers and be careful. Everyone wants a piece of it.
Yeah.
Those people want a piece of it too, and that's where we have to absolutely draw the boundary.
Yeah.
You will not suck my energy out like that. I give it too much to everybody, and I can't.
So, okay, you've said like so many things that I think are important, but since you just said that, I want to know, like, when did you, like, is that where you learned that skill? Because I very much have been learning it. People look at you differently. Like, I've had this experience where it's like, I got the show and I like told my close friends about it. And like, I wasn't supposed to talk about it for a while. And then some people treated me differently and their energy changed. And then I became, I don't know if defensive is the right word, but I was like, oh, I have to like, all of a sudden, living here in Eugene, we don't have to worry about
No, you do here too.
Okay, so like, when did you realize that you had to like have that mentality of just like, sometimes you have to be a bitch? Like, when did you get there?
I realized it fast, but did I act on it? No.
Okay.
The reason is because people always told me you're giving too much. You're opening yourself up to people too much. You have to like tighten it up. But give people the PR version and smile and give them this much, but do not let everybody have the full version of you.
Right.
Be exhausted.
Yeah.
Also, they'll take advantage of you.
Yeah.
Also, they're still going to misrepresent you no matter what, even if you're nice all the time.
Right.
There are just times, unfortunately, where you have to protect yourself, and I cannot be that for everyone.
Yeah.
And I know you saw me on television, or you heard I've been on television, or you heard I've been on Broadway, but the expectation is not that I have to be everything for you right now.
Right.
I'm not paying for this. This is the public space. Like, it is a tricky place to navigate because people expect you to be that on.
All the time.
And we can't.
Yeah.
We can't. If you expect me to survive and thrive and be what everyone needs me to be, I can't do it just for you.
Right.
Not today. So I'll always try to like be to the point and short with people, but sometimes you just can't. And I'm not going to deal with foolishness. And speaking of, you said, when did you learn this or when did you realize?
Yeah.
I was like, have I really learned? I have, but there's always been a place, there's always been that thing in my head where it's like, you're giving too much. You are not protecting your peace.
Right.
And I still do it sometimes. You're like, shit, okay, I got to turn this on for someone because they need something.
Yeah.
Because people are drawn to us for advice or
Right.
even
Anything.
life advice.
Yeah.
They can see the energy. And
We've been counselors
they
everywhere.
will suck you up.
Yeah.
Because we have an empathy. We have an understanding. And there are times, I mean, you just have to like, you know what? I can't be that person for you right now.
Right. I straight up.
I'm sorry.
Like straight up saying that. Yeah.
Yes, because honestly, some people haven't earned that space in our life. And that's what I had to learn is like, would they be there for you?
Right.
Or do they just see this opportunity for your energy? And
Right.
And like, there's so many people that I've been there for through really hard situations that I was genuinely, and you know, when we listen, we don't just listen, we take that shit home with us.
Yes.
Sleep at night.
Yeah.
And I'm worrying about people. And then I'm like, but now that you're fine after your divorce and you moved on and you're on your come up, you disappeared.
Yeah.
And now I'm having a hard time and I can't call you.
Right.
I had to learn through a few things like that, like really, really evaluate whether people deserve that space and that energy and give people a little bit. That's what they want with the magic when you're our level, not famous, not celebrity, but like you have something special. Give them a little bit of it, but you don't have to give them the whole shake and shimmy. Just a little dab of glittering. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people have to understand that. And that's where there is always going to be someone who's unhappy with your performance for them when they meet you, their expectation of what you were.
Yeah.
He's a bitch, or he's standoffish, he's cold, he's quiet. No, that's just what I was in the moment. That's what you got. That's all I could give you. I don't know you. You don't matter anymore. You were playing. And I'm sorry, because either way, even if you tried so hard to be that person all the time,
right,
you're going to be exhausted and someone's still going to say that shit about you.
Right, regardless.
And I just have to be like, you know what? Am I a bitch sometimes? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's what it takes to protect my space.
Yeah.
You want me to be this thing that you all have created, this is what I have to do.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And people who are in the industry can look at each other and be like, that's what we have to do.
Right.
It doesn't define who your personality is. Are there bitchy people in the business? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the higher up you get, the more you have to put those things up, because I'm not going to put up with that bullshit in my face.
Yeah.
I can't come over here with that noise. I'm trying to be creative. I have an energy I have to work with, and you know what it's like for us.
Yeah.
Managing business, looking at this, protecting people, trying to have a family.
Totally.
You're bringing this bullshit into my space?
Yeah.
No, baby.
This is so important, like what he's saying right now. I'm just about...
Because when you're young and you're hungry,
yeah,
say yes to everything.
Right.
There's a gradual phase where you have to start saying no.
Right.
Or at least like, not now.
Right.
Nope.
Right.
And like, don't take it personally, because everyone expects you to be open, inviting, and always available. It's like, with cat cannot be that. I'm not a drive-through.
And like, let's just like go that route. What happens to you if you are a person that is going to just allow, say yes. And like, what does that open you up for in this industry? Like,
Lohan.
Okay.
Exhausted.
Yeah.
You're going to get exhausted. You're going to get worn out. You're going to get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be like soul suckers, vampires all around.
Soul suckers.
And,
yeah.
The thing is, though, the reason why it's a tricky situation is that I got to the point in my career where everyone around me was a yes person.
Yeah.
As long as I was making you money and doing that thing, no one could ever tell me, child, I was reckless. I did my shows. I was always professional.
Yeah.
But the rest of the time, no one could tell me anything. Go into bars, take drinks, walk out of the bar with a drink in my hand, throw the glass on the street. Like, I was literally like a reckless. This was during the time of Paris Hilton.
Yes.
Okay. You could do whatever you wanted.
Right. Yeah.
If I didn't like a bar, I would put the drink in my pocket.
Yeah.
Take it outside, walk down the street, finish my drink while I was walking to the next bar, which is illegal.
Yeah.
Smash the glass on the ground and go to the next place because I thought I was untouchable.
Yeah, it's 2000.
No one ever tells you no. As long as you're producing and as long as the talent is there and you're making money, and I always showed up to work and I was always on point, why would they ever tell you no? Like so you learn that bad habit, and then you start to realize that everyone around you is just sucking the life out of you. At some point, you realize, like, I have everything. There was a point in a cab one time when I was driving, and I thought, I know so many people, but I'm absolutely alone right now.
Yeah.
There are so many people around me, and they're all relying on me for money, but I have no one to call. Who would I
Like
call?
no friend.
No real person. And
Yeah.
I was like, it's time to fix this. Like,
Yeah.
I've made my career, my life number one, and I have it all. I've done it all. Like, I was like, okay, theater, Broadway, Fashion Week, it's all there. But what do I have to show for it? For me,
Right,
as
right.
payment and creative. Mm-hmm. And that's when you realize you become like a cog in the wheel of someone else's business instead of doing your own creative thing.
Right.
And that's when I took a step back and I moved to Florida and took a vacation and rested. And then I was like, I'm ready to get creative, like do my thing.
Yeah.
It's not always about being famous. That's great. Or achieving the highest pinnacle of your career.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's about stepping back and being like, what's going to make me happy? What's fulfilling?
And that was one of my questions, like, what is success to you? Like, having at that point, like, you can even talk about it, like, at that point, you obviously were like, I'm doing this, I'm living this lifestyle. Mm-hmm. How did your definition of what being successful change?
Yeah. Well, I think I never wanted to be like a household name. I didn't want to be that famous, but there were things I wanted to experience.
Yeah.
I wanted to taste it.
Yeah.
I wanted to know what it was like to be in New York. I wanted to know what it was like to work at Radio City, to be on Broadway. Like, I wanted a sampling of all that. And so I went and did it. And I got in music videos and I met celebrities and I did that thing. And everything I did, I was like, amazing. I feel so accomplished. And everyone pats you on the back. And I was like, but I don't know if this is like what I want forever.
Right.
I think what I wanted at that point was like, I want a family, I want a relationship, but I still want to be creative. Mm-hmm. I want to find out what that looks like for me moving forward. And it starts to grow. And it's weird because I've done that and everyone's always like, you did so many things.
Yeah.
But I still I don't look at celebrities with jealousy, but then I look at other people with like admiration, like you, when I'm like, I love
Thank
that.
you.
I love that, like, every time I think you've done everything you can do, you expand and grow in a different direction. And it's like with complete admiration, like, that's success to me. That's what I would want, as like, if I want it as much as you do, that's how I do it. Is like, where can I grow? Which direction can I go in? Like, where I am now, where you're planted with what you have to work with, how can I see growth? How can I make this bigger and better? And like, it's so admirable because you're doing it all the time. When I think you can't do anymore, you do more.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. I think I have
More jealous of you than like a celebrity.
Oh my God, stop. I think I have the mentality.
Happy for you.
Thank you. I think I have the mentality, and I was thinking about this yesterday, of just like I'm super passionate about running a studio. Like, there's this like idea of like, to be successful as an entertainer, I have to be in LA and I have to live that Hollywood life and I have to do that thing. And I'm like, well, actually, like, this is successful.
Successful.
And then like, how far can that reach? And like, I'm not really ever thinking about transporting myself to a different place.
Right.
But I'm like, how can I build this so it's like, what is the word I'm looking for? Just,
this is like the center, the heartbeat of something that's going to reach.
yeah. But I'm like, I have had these feelings, but like at this point in life, I'm like, I don't need to be in LA or in New York anymore, like trying to do that thing in that way, because I don't see any longevity there. And I see a lot of, I don't know what else to say, but like mental health issues of people that I know that went there.
Trade-off.
There's a trade-off.
And here you
Depressed.
have a trade-off.
I don't have
being tired.
I'm tired, and some of
With the usual.
dealing with the usual. So the trade-off, though,
Yeah.
like for somebody that wants to somebody that like wants to do it, it doesn't even have to be an entertainment, but like you're trying to excel at something that's really hard to do. Like, what is the trade-off?
Well, you need to be realistic. For some reason, I always was realistic, and I always called it shelf life.
Yeah.
I knew you're like a carton of milk.
Yeah.
It's not going to last forever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's better for you to decide immediately how long you're going to do this.
Right.
Or at least be aware. I knew there would be a moment where I said, that's enough for me.
Yeah.
I didn't have that drive where I was like, I want to be at the top and I'm not going to stop until I get there. Because I didn't know what the top looked like for me.
Yeah.
I just wanted the experience. I wanted to do it, and I wanted to do it as long as it brought me joy.
Yeah.
I love performing, but I love more the work in the studio.
Yeah. The journey.
Love rehearsals.
Yeah.
I love exploring.
Yeah.
So I knew that my spirit would tell me when it's time to quit.
Yeah.
Some people don't know when it's time to quit.
Yeah.
You have to be just very aware. Like, there are going to be trade-offs. You're going to be put in situations where you have to defend your integrity. You have to possibly turn down opportunities or lose opportunities for things that you're willing or not willing to do.
Right.
And there was very little that I wasn't willing to do when I was 20, in my 20s. And now that's another part of it, like why you're a bitch all of a sudden. Because I've gotten to the level where I am where I don't ask for work, people give it to me. When I get there, I have a certain expectation.
Right.
And people don't understand that even if I'm not involved in that aspect of a production, it still has my name on it.
Right.
And I'm going to allow it to happen.
Yeah.
So when I'm like, no, they're like, you're being difficult. I'm like, no, I'm not being difficult.
Yeah.
I'm defending like my name that's on the sign outside.
Right.
So that's, people don't understand you. They don't understand. I am my perfectionist. Yes.
Yeah.
My work. For me, not for everybody else. I have a level of expectation, but I'm not going to allow something to make me feel a certain way or affect like how people are going to view me from a public standpoint and brand when they're buying tickets for a show or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, there is and the mental health trade-off, sorry, to get back to the original.
Yeah.
The mental health trade-off is very real.
Yeah.
And you have to have a grounding support team. Fortunately, I mean, like your students come from a place where they can always call you.
Yeah.
That's the cool part.
We have that here.
I didn't have anyone to call. I didn't know how the fuck I got through all this. Like,
That's what I'm wondering. That's why I'm
really
poking
don't
at you.
know. I
Like,
really don't know because New York was like, but here's the thing: there was something within me that was crazy enough to do it. Because I tell people, I've talked to Mark about this. I've talked to a lot of people about this. It's an interesting time. No one made me want this. I wanted it.
yeah.
And I was so serious in New York. It was crazy. I'm experiencing like a second childhood now, like being a hoe. When I was in New York, my career was so important to me. I didn't date people in New York. Also, let's go back to as a gay man in New York in 2002.
Yeah.
There were no dating apps.
Yeah.
There was no Grindr. There was no like meeting people. You met people at bars.
Right.
Like if you went.
So you were out.
There was no way to be distracted.
Right.
But also my career was the only thing that mattered. So when I did meet people and they would be like, do you want to go on a date or do you want to, I was like, no.
Oh, wow.
I might go on tour like next week. I don't know what I'm going to book. I'm not like, it's not to say I didn't have my fair share of fun, which wasn't huge comparatively. But like I was so focused on my career. Like I literally told people like, I don't have time.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was going out to bars to meet my friends from shows, to like see my friends from shows.
Right.
Like it was all about like community networking. I had that kind of focus and drive, which was really strange.
Yeah.
No one taught me that. Like,
Right.
It just came from like what I wanted. The drive was so strong.
And you didn't grow up in a studio and you had that. And you just started.
They were absolutely not supportive of theater at all. They never came to
They were.
the city. Not one time. They never saw me.
No.
They never visited. Like what I'm saying is that's not to make you feel bad. It's to say that I didn't have like stage parents. So pushing me.
Yeah.
No one pushed me.
Yeah.
And me.
Wow.
Psychotic.
What?
But that's what I see in you. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, where the fuck is she getting this from? And that was you, like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Your shelf life is longer than mine.
Shelf life.
And I still have it. I still have it.
You definitely still have
I
it.
still have that creative side, but I don't have the drive to like do the most with it. Like I don't, like I still have little things and my spirit is still there. But like I admire you because like you are me when I was 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. But then as I got older, it's just amazing. Yeah. It's amazing to watch.
I didn't have a 20s.
That's why
I got married, and we all know the story about my ex-husband. We don't need to tell it on every fucking podcast. But like,
I got her hope at your 20th, and now she's on her businesswoman phase.
no, I didn't have a little phase. I was married, and then I got pregnant right away, and I like basically couldn't. Yeah,
You were like mom, which is
I was mom.
important career of your life.
That, but like more importantly, like I couldn't dance. Like I wasn't dancing.
Didn't do anything for yourself.
I didn't do anything for myself, so I didn't have that phase of like my
You never written your own magic. That's what it is.
Yeah. I hadn't. I didn't get
Oh,
it.
it's amazing.
And then like in my 2021, before I had met him, I had my, going down to LA, training, doing the thing, all that kind of stuff. But I didn't get to do the pursuit.
That's so weird.
Isn't it crazy?
I never really thought about it that way.
It's
I think
inverse.
I never was ambition, but like you're just experiencing, like harnessing your own.
I started Escape and like started on this journey of like, okay, I'm going to get back into what it means to perform and do all that. I started at 30.
Wow.
So like I retrained, I got back and
I mean, stand around you, hold hands, and have a moment. It is like special. Because you're coming into your own.
Yeah.
I always think of you as knowing exactly who you are.
Yeah.
You're getting to experience your own power.
Yeah. I didn't do that in my 20s. Yeah. And you like that moment you were describing is like, oh, yeah. Like I'm doing that now, but you did that like 20 years ago and I'm like listening to it and I'm like, oh, wow, that's where I'm at.
I want to see you in like 3 years because you're going to be like, no time for anyone's bullshit.
Oh my God. I hope so.
Once you understand it.
I love some bullshit right now.
I try to be kind to people, but like, I know there's something about me that there's like a magic talent.
Yeah.
Because nobody's taught me this shit. I don't know where it comes from. Like, I don't know how my brain even works. You get to the point, I heard something the other day about when people give you a compliment or say like, you're amazing.
Yeah.
Not to be like, oh no, I don't know. Like,
yeah.
People are always like acting modest or humble because that's what we've been taught.
Yeah.
You should be like, you're welcome.
Literally, yeah.
And you to a point in your career where I'm like, I'm not going to pretend like it's not there.
Yeah.
I'm going to pretend like this thing doesn't exist. First of all, because I have curated it. I did develop it. I did work on it.
Yeah.
But also, I was born with it.
Yeah.
It's my thing. And if someone's going to compliment me on it, you need to own it.
Yeah.
And it takes a long time to get there because you're always like, oh, no, I don't know.
When did you get there?
Especially, I don't know. Because I still live in a world of, I don't have, what's it called, imposter syndrome anymore. I don't have that, but I have a panic. I think because the pandemic, I always think my talent is going to like go away.
Yeah.
Or every time I do a project, I panic. I have like this sense of anxiety, like I'm not going to be able to create this. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And then I also push things out. I'm a procrastinator.
Yeah. Because
I can't do it too early because I don't know where I'm going to put it.
100%.
So I panic all the way up until like an hour before the first rehearsal. And then I come up with something incredible. And then I sit in the audience and Mark is like, it's incredible. Like, this is really incredible. This is what I knew you were going to do. And I'm like crying because I was so stressed leading like 50,000 hours of child labor.
Yeah.
And then this beautiful baby comes out every time.
Yeah.
And Mark's like, I knew it was going to be a beautiful baby.
That's your process.
Well, that's my process. My process drives me fucking crazy.
That is so
That's why I don't do it as much anymore. Because I like, the older I get, the more it affects mental. Like, that's a mental example of like, I stress out over, even teaching class. I stress all day long about like, what's it going to be like? What are we going to do?
Oh my goodness.
I'd overthink everything.
Yeah.
I think I'm aloof and stupid, but I'm not. I'm just.
I don't think you're aloof.
No, not yet. But I like people do because I'm flighty and I could be everywhere. It's like I'm thinking about so many things at once.
Totally.
I overthink. There's nothing that I did not think about. They're like, "What were you thinking? You didn't." I'm like, exactly. It's just like everybody has a weird process. I have a weird process. That's why I thought I would never be a good teacher.
Yeah.
Because my brain doesn't work.
But you're everyone's favorite teacher.
Yeah, but you know what? Something that is a blessing to me that has really helped my spirit this year. I don't think I'm the best technical teacher. I can't. No, like technical, teaching technique. But I'll tell you what I give myself credit for. No, I mean, this is not an insult. And this may help you as well. I'm not going to lie because I feel like we're very, very similar.
Yeah.
I can teach technique.
Yeah.
Okay, and I teach what I can from like a kinesiology standpoint. Like, here's what worked for me. What's more important is like what you're giving people in class.
Yeah.
How you bring in that same fucking thing. Also, you're a brilliant choreographer. I don't think I'm a brilliant choreographer. I think I'm creative and I think I know how to entertain people. So I'm giving myself credit. Your brilliance is in like your vision. Like it's always like a puzzle when I watch your choreography. Like, how the fuck does she do these formations and people are switching and like it's so amazing to see from a aesthetic standpoint.
Yeah.
And the creativity of the movement. When I choreograph, it's like Hong Kong, like Waters, Seltzer, like it's entertainment.
Yeah,
like
entertainment.
Literally entertainment. Which I don't, there's a validity to that. But I didn't think I had as a teacher until I worked with some people this year and I hated what I was working on because I hate all the work. I hate the music. I didn't want to choreograph. The songs were uninspiring.
Right.
But at the end, like 4 people from the show came up to me and were like, I like didn't believe in myself. And then after this experience, like, I know I can do this. Like, that's like something. And like, that's what I think, like, I bring more than technique is like, for my students, I hope they have like a sense of like, I can be this.
Yeah.
Like, I want my experience, my interaction to bring out something in you where you're like, that was the moment for me. Like my mentor, Cornelius Carter, like
Right.
that man gave me a moment and he saw me. And so if I can do that, that's more important to like, I don't know if I've taught anyone how to do a pirouette. I don't know. I see changes in my students. I'm very proud of them. I'm like, I don't know. But I'm always like, who else do you take class from? Because someone's teaching you really well.
Right. It's you, man.
That's my like superpower. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'd rather be that life-changing moment. And people are always like, your class is my favorite. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
They're like such great teachers here.
I think that's what you're talking about. It's that magic. It's the magic you have.
Yeah.
That's what
I
I
can apologize for it. I know I have it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I use it for evil.
Only in this season.
Only in this season. Yeah. I'm living through your like experiencing, like that makes me so happy.
It's a lot.
That's such a fucking crazy time in life.
Yeah.
There's so much more risk involved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I also think it's like one of those things, like your timing, like you were in college for chemistry and then you got swept up. Like if I had gotten swept up at that time in that way, I would not have been able to do what you did in that way. I wouldn't have kids, but I wasn't mentally.
I didn't have any kids because of this.
Yeah.
I tried, but nothing happened.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of though, I want to know, as we get close to wrapping up, we needed part 2 with Christopher because I feel like we didn't even get to like the nitty gritty. What is the most fucked up / difficult thing you had to go through that was like defining for you? Like it's like the thing you will never forget that just like rocked your shit and you were never the same after it.
So the come up?
Yeah, like something that like really like changed your path or made you make a different choice or...
I feel like it's been one thing after another. I mean, because I wasn't prepared for anything, I felt like everything was a lesson.
Yeah.
I also was not, it didn't hit me as hard going through it because I was like, well, I didn't know that. So I mean, contracts, people fucking me over with money.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I flew to Alaska once, boarded a cruise ship, choreographed an entire show.
Yeah.
A whole burlesque show called the Blissa Burlesque, which might still be running on that ship. I'm not really sure.
Stop.
There's like a lounge act. The producer kept sending me music through email. Day after day, add this song, we're going to add this song. And I had signed the contract. And I was supposed to be there for a week choreographing. I ended up being there for 2 weeks. We were sailing from Seattle to Alaska.
Yeah.
Twice. And then I left the ship. The show opened. And I found out that they were making like $30,000 to $40,000 in bar sales at this. It was in a lounge.
Yeah.
You know, they were making $30,000 to $40,000 in bar sales, I think, every single time the show aired.
Wow.
I got paid $1,500 for the show.
Oh.
And they own it in perpetuity.
They can run it forever. Oh my God.
One show for life.
So.
And the show, when I tell you it was impeccably, beautifully choreographed, like.
I believe it.
It had, oh my God, it had Selwa Tango. And it was so good. But that's when I learned, like, they ran me out. Like, that is when you feel like you literally got your spirit sucked out of you. And like,
yeah.
But I was a kid, and I was like, oh, yeah, I can do the show. And I'm like, but you were working for a multi-million-dollar company. I should have asked for, like, $20,000.
Yeah, your entire year.
Crazy. Those kind of moments are what got me. And you know what that helped me was the pandemic.
Yeah.
Contracts. Come up with your own contract. That's my biggest advice. If you have your own contract, have a... have somebody look it through with you. Find a lawyer friend. Don't sign anything until you look at it. But what saved me during the pandemic was I built a new contract, and all contracts, most of them have an act of God clause.
Yeah.
Mine had an act of God because I'm like, if the theater burns down, bitch, I need my coin.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry about your kid. File for Aflac. Whatever it means, but bitch, I want
the coin.
Fucking
coin. Yeah.
So the way that I work, also this is for choreographers.
Yeah.
Always get a retainer. The minute they sign you, if people are like, oh, in December, Vanessa, we want you to come and do this one number in our studio.
Yeah.
And how many times, y'all, I almost sued a public school system one time because they told me I was choreographing their halftime show.
Yeah.
And the day I was leaving to go down there, and they're like, no one was responding. They're like, oh, we fired that person. They don't work here anymore. You're not doing the halftime show.
Oh my God.
I want my fucking money.
Yes.
When I tell you, I was like, I'm going to write the mayor. I'm going to write everyone. My gay ass are going to be doing a parade downtown. I want my fucking money. I want all of it. And I got all of it.
Yes. You do it.
This is what I mean by, like, you have to be a bitch sometimes.
And you have to advocate for yourself.
I reserved that 1 week of my life, and in entertainment, a week is a lot of time.
A ton of time.
If I reserve my week and you bounce on me, bitch, you're paying me for my fucking week.
Yeah.
I was still going. I was like, I plan on showing up at the school. I'll be knocking on the Florell's door on Monday and bring up my goddamn check for me. And they knew because I was so strong-handed. I was like, this bitch is going to be loud, noisy, and problematic. Whoop, I want my money.
Yeah.
That's it. That's not really problematic. That's like, I have an expectation. I was going to show up. You're not there. What's the point?
I love that.
Yeah. So I just learned to like not fuck around and find out with that kind of stuff.
Right.
So when the pandemic happened, I had 4 shows that are called.
I remember you were busy.
From March 2020 through December 2021.
I remember this because you were like, I would try to either do comp stuff and you were like, I am busy.
Yeah, I already had a merch made for a team. I was going to do the Miss Oregon pageant.
Yeah, okay, that's
Full production.
Yeah.
I had already booked people to drive race cars on stage. I had already booked, I had a whole plan. It was like a car theme.
Yeah.
They're going to do like pink Cadillac, get out of my dreams, get into my car. Like, man, like a whole theme for Miss Oregon. And I gave them all contracts, and I made everyone give me a retainer. So my retainer is half the amount of my total fee.
Yeah.
You give it to me so that I can front my assistants. And I had rehearsal assistants. So every show I had signed on for through 2021, I had pulled a retainer.
Yeah, so you had that.
So I had like, $6,000-$7,000 in cash.
Yeah.
And the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
That saved my ass because I lost my job, I lost everything, my health insurance. I was without anything to do. And everything that I worked on involved large crowds.
Yeah.
After the pandemic, what do I do?
Yeah.
Luckily I had you. I danced at a studio when I recorded.
Yeah, that was so...
But like, I lost everything. And so all those things had a retainer in the contract for Act of God. And so I kept the money and lost the contract, but they didn't get their money back. Otherwise, I'd have had to return it. You have to return that shit if you have it in your contract.
Put it in your contract. And read your
Get a retainer also, and the retainer has to say if you back out for any reason or you don't show up on the day one or whatever. Because you also tell them if I don't show up on day one, I'll give it back.
Right.
Like it's a mutual protection thing. And then the final payment needs to be done on the day you start the clinic or the day you start the workshop or the day the show up.
Yeah.
Final check.
Yeah.
Not 6 weeks later, not when the show closes, not like I want my check the day I'm done.
I actually appreciated that about the show that I just did. They were really good about my flights were booked, my family's flights were booked. They gave me cash for food there.
Maybe I love people who pay on.
Like it was like right away, and so I felt good the entire time. Like so I could show up the right way, you know what I mean? But you kind of get a sense when something's like shady.
Right.
And when you get that sense, I mean for me it would be a no at this point in life, but definitely like you've got to get your shit before.
What I mean when you ask me the question about like when do you have to put your foot down and be a bitch? This is when people call us a bitch.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the reality of the situation. You talked to everybody and got my phone number and found me and looked at my resume and looked at my Instagram and checked everything. You took all that time to call me and ask me to do a gig for you.
Yeah.
You were that organized, or it took 2 weeks. I committed to something. When it comes time to pay, all of a sudden you can't figure your shit out.
Yeah.
So you figured out how to find me.
But you can't
but you can't figure out how to cut a check.
Yeah.
And I don't care if you have a bookkeeper, you have to go through processing it, your accountant, whatever it is. No, baby.
Yeah.
There's a so you just make your expectation clear. When my job is done, I did all this for you. I can scramble and make this work for you.
Yeah.
You gotta pay like on time. I don't know why in entertainment especially it's so flexible with people be like, sorry for about the check of 10, blah, blah, blah. But you know, even at McDonald's, you get your direct deposit every Friday.
Right.
I want my money when I want my money. I finished my job. I made it work for you, so you need to be professional and follow up with me.
Right. And you have to, people have
There's an expectation of like, we don't want to talk about money, we don't want to fight for it.
Right.
I used to be like that. I would let checks go for the person who's running for president right now bounced a check for me for $3,000 when I choreographed Miss Alabama USA. And I had to go back and fight.
That's Trump too.
Donald Trump, give me my fucking money.
Oh my God.
I'd already gone. The punching was over. I did the whole entire thing. The check bounced. And I had to call them. And literally, I was like, there was no contract.
Yeah.
That's the learning lesson.
Yeah.
I was like, I want my fucking money. Was it literally Donald Trump? No, but he owned Miss USA.
Right.
But I'm like, the check bounced. You balanced the check in my fucking account. I made the overdraft fee.
Yeah.
Give me my money. There's just stuff like that you learn, like one little case at a time.
Yeah.
People are so disorganized and chaotic.
Yeah.
But we're the ones who are called chaotic. Right. We're like, nope, we're not doing that. No. You're not giving me like whatever. Most of them like wire transfer, cash.
Yeah.
Something.
Venmo, whatever.
I want to check these days. Like,
Yeah.
I trust people. Some people with checks, other people like, no.
Yeah.
You just need to give me like crypto or something.
Oh my God.
They're more reliable.
And I think that goes back to like, it's, you know, people always say to, in entertainment to get in entertainment, but it's also the other way around. Like if you disrespect me and you expect somebody else who knows me to work for you, like I'm going to tell them. I'm going to be like, oh, I didn't get paid on time. Oh yeah, I didn't get my life together.
The word is out.
The word's out.
No.
Like you have to be kind to people, but like it's okay to be assertive and ask for your shit. And it's like,
yes, but that's also why I tell people to be careful about who you, like what you say is what you shouldn't mean. Mm-hmm. So don't spread little rumors about people not paying on time, chaotic. Like this is a trope of racism as well.
Yeah.
Because in the entertainment industry, I will tell you straight up someone that didn't pay on time or someone who is chaotic or disorganized. Mm-hmm. So be careful when you start like little shit about people like didn't get it. It's not safe. It's not like you can ruin someone's reputation.
Totally.
That's what we do. Like your word is your honor in the entertainment industry. So
yeah,
you cannot like just throw that kind of stuff around.
Yeah. It's been so awesome having you. There's so many things I think we have to do a part 2. But is there anything else that you would tell people, aside from the business, not non-business stuff that you would tell people? Yeah, and that's what I was looking for, because the piece of being yourself and being authentic, I feel like is literally what you're talking about at the beginning. Like, I just knew I had that fire.
Right.
Like, just what is it? What is that you need emotionally, physically, spiritually, aside from the business, to be successful?
Yeah, if you were fortunate enough to have someone like Vanessa, which your kids are so blessed. I've said that a million times. I wish. That's the only thing I said in New York was like, I wish someone had told me before I got here. It is hard. It's not for everyone. And no, not everyone can do it.
Not everyone can do it. And that's okay.
That's okay. There are other aspects that you can go into.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We need lighting people.
Lighting, camera people.
So many people who started out saying, I used to dance and have a costume.
Yeah.
Like, you're the most brilliant costumer. But
right.
We don't all have to be in the front of the stage.
Totally.
We're no longer good. I like now producer, director is like my game.
Yes.
But it is not easy, but it's totally worth it. Mm-hmm. But you're doing different work than most other humans.
Yeah.
So it's not going to look the same.
Right.
It's not going to feel the same. Your experience is not going to be the same. And don't expect your other people, your pedestrian friends, your civilian friend.
Your civilian
Don't
friend.
expect people to understand you. That's why it's so rare. Like, you get me so much. I can't talk to a lot of people the way I talk to you.
Yeah, for sure.
And you definitely can't talk to the fans, the people on the outside. They don't quite understand all the time.
Right.
How hard it is, the responsibility that's on your shoulders to be this other person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's harder to find a relationship.
Yeah.
People have to put up with your multiple personalities.
So many personalities.
The fact that when you walk out the door, you're a different person.
Yeah.
And you have to be that person for everyone.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if they're the number one person in your life, they get pushed back sometimes.
Yeah.
Very, very challenging to have a relationship. Also to know that when you go home, they tell you have to be in a relationship with someone who tells you, I'm not your fucking fan and you're not a fucking star. We're being to treat me right, or I'm not. Like, that's what I love. It's like, I love real people. After all the yeses, after all the yes people, anyone who will tell you no or talk
hold
to you
on to that,
whole ass friend, and you better hold on to that motherfucker all day long.
Yes.
Baby, I get turned on when someone's like, questions my behavior.
Yeah.
Because they're like, Christopher, you can't act like that.
You're like, wait, what?
No, get in the car. We're going to talk about it on the way out.
Yeah.
Daddy. No, it's a whole different world to navigate. It is so rewarding.
Yeah.
So amazing. But you got to learn how to filter out. Like, you're going to get a lot of like, oh my God, Vanessa, your like stuff is so amazing. Your work is so incredible. And like, learn how to filter out filter in the like honest, genuine stuff you're going to get. Like, you changed my life.
Yeah.
Like, look at Autumn. You like changed her life. Like, there's so many people. That kind of stuff I've learned is bigger than like signing autographs.
Right. Totally.
So fucking huge. And that's where I thought, okay, I'm going to be a teacher.
Yeah.
Because I didn't expect that. Everything's always been about me or about what I could get out of it. And I'm like, oh my God, people are like changey.
Yeah.
It's taking a long time because I've moved some, but like those relationships, like it's more rewarding than being on stage.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
For sure.
It's really crazy.
That's what it is. That's what it's for.
It's a wild ride. There's a lot of the come up. If you're not ready for it, you're not ready for it.
Yeah.
You have to be a strong personality.
Yeah.
Which I think sometimes requires you to come from some type of adversity.
Yeah. We were talking about that.
As communities get better. Yeah. I don't know.
We were talking about how like like when you sit down and have the conversation with most people, there's some kind of element of trauma or adversity that's like kind of molded that. So it becomes very purposeful.
You have to be able to tap into deep emotions. And if you're from a privileged life of no conflict, you don't understand that.
Yeah.
You have to have been through some shit to portray some shit on stage. Otherwise, you better just be playing vanilla characters.
Yeah.
You can draw from.
Thank you so much for playing. I love you too.
I'm turning it around you.
Okay.
Hey, questions are going to be for real.
Oh my God. Okay, so before I freak the fuck out, where can people find information about you if they want to find you?
I'm on Instagram at @TheChrisD. Anything is at @TheChrisD.
The.
Twitter also.
And Venmo.
Remarkable.
At Venmo.
That's at the Christopher D. My Twitter is like the most unappreciated Twitter ever. You know, Barack Obama follows me on Twitter.
Shut up. Oh my God. I didn't even know you were on Twitter.
Girl, I don't advertise.
Oh my God.
It's because of The Bachelor, I'm telling you. Although I don't know if Barack followed me, but he only follows like 500,000 people and he has like 64 million followers.
And the Christine is one of them.
Barack Obama follows me.
You all need to get on this.
Merle Haggard, the country singer.
Wow.
Oh, let me on Twitter.
Did you say Rosie O'Donnell?
Rosie O'Donnell.
Oh my God.
I have a rando like Twitter. The Bachelor brought me a lot of crazy ones. But I still like Barack is my favorite follower.
That's amazing.
We talk all the time.
Oh yes.
Oh, it's like we need you. We're there.
That's Steve's with Barack.
Yeah, no, I don't like to engage on Twitter very much. Insta is the way to go.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe I'll choreograph.
Yes. Any of the things: shows, musicals, solos, bar mitzvahs.
I got this.
Yeah.
Wedding.
Oh my God. I haven't done that yet.
Oh, wedding yet?
I haven't.
Oh, I have done like 8 since I've been here with you.
Are you serious?
I think you hand them off to me.
I don't think I could do that. That's like not.
Jackie joined her curse reveal like
I literally.
not public.
I can't do it.
That's the thing. And she's going through her like era where she's figuring out her spirit, and she's like, I can't do that. And I'm in the era where I'm like, I can take that nature.
Thank you guys for listening. The Come Up, it's on Apple, it's on Spotify, it's on iHeartRadio, it's on Amazon, it's on Facebook, it's on YouTube, it's everywhere, bitches. Drop some coin, Christopher Dean.
Let's do it.